this webhook URL area here. We hit submit and save. And that's it. That's done. As you can see, that's set up. Now what we have to do is we have to create an automation that can trigger that. So we'll reference this coming back in the near future, but I wanted to make this a step-by-step walkthrough. So the very first thing that you want to do is go into Zapier, and you'll go into your dashboard and hit Make a Zap. From here, we're going to name this. I want to call this Demo Zapier to Chatmatic. And the first step we're going to choose is a webhook. We're going to go ahead and select Catch Hook, save and continue, and go ahead and continue here. And you'll see now that it gives us this webhook. So that's step one, because we actually have to get the webhook, right? Next, we go into Chatmatic. We go to our page. We click Manage Page. Go to Settings, Integrations. Now, I'm going to show you a live setup, right? So first thing I got to do is add a new integration, and we're going to call this Live Demo Integration. Okay? And we paste that webhook URL that Zapier just gave us into this webhook URL area here. We hit submit and save. And that's it. That's done. As you can see, that's set up. Now what we have to do is we have to create an automation that can trigger that integration. And the reason they're set up separately is because in the future you're going to be able to do automations that do multiple things. Or, for instance, I could have an automation that triggers multiple integrations. So let me just show you. First thing we're going to do is a live demo automation. Okay, hit save, and I got to select to trigger an integration. We're going to call this live demo integration. Add it. That's it. So you just want to make sure, number one, this is turned on. Number two, that you have on the right-hand side the integration that you want this to actually send to. And now we're going to hit save and complete. Now, from this screen, you should see this should be turned on. You have the name right here. All this is good. If you hit edit, it'll take you inside. As long as the integration that is inside of this still exists. Otherwise, it'll give you an error and it'll say you need to delete that automation and start over again. But again, we set up an integration right here. That this, every time this gets triggered, it's going to send something to Zapier, right? So now we have an automation, which again could do multiple things. It could unsubscribe the user, it could add a tag to the user's account, so on and so forth. For this demo, I'm just going to show you how it sends information to Zapier, okay? So we go into Engage, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this coffee shop demo that I already have, and I'm going to use that to set up my automation. So you can see here, whenever I collect an email, it's set to trigger this automation. I'm going to change that to live demo. Hit save. Save and complete. Now, just to confirm for your own sake, just go, take a look and be like, okay, let me just double check. Go back in, and you can see it's gonna trigger live demo automation. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is more. Step 3 is actually putting that automation on a bot so that we can trigger it. Okay, so let's go to campaigns. I'm going to actually create a new m.me link. Now you notice we haven't finished setting up Zapier yet, right? We know that. Let me just go ahead and make this. And I want to trigger the coffee shop demo. We're going to call this live demo setup m.me, okay? So again, it's going to trigger the coffee shop demo. And the reason we haven't finished doing our Zapier yet is because Zapier needs demo information. They need to know what is Chatmatic going to send through this webhook. So we've got to go through the live example once in order to tell it what we're looking for. So I'm just going to make a custom live demo coffee. Okay? Hit save. And you guys can see it changed my URL. So here's the fun part. We're going to go to the URL, which should send that automation that we just made, right? Here we go. So it's going to send a message. It's set up for a few seconds delay. Here we go. Now, when I click this email address, it's going to trigger this webhook, right? So what I want to do is I want to hit, okay, I did this. Now I'm going to click my email, right? Now it's going to continue sending me the rest of the information. I go back into Zapier, and you can see that changed. And it said, okay, we have some demo information. So you can click on that, and you can see this is what Chatmatic is sending through, okay? So that means that it's connected. It's good to go. We're ready to rock. I hit continue. Now I can do whatever I want in Zapier. So let's say I want to, send a message to Slack, or I want to use this system. This is one of the best things that I could suggest that you guys do is Gmail send an email. You can see it's already integrated to my Gmail account. I go to save and continue. And so I can actually send an email to the person whose lead information I collected. You see what I'm saying? That's pretty cool. So I could also CC myself. Again, the from, it's just going to be your from address, from name. I could say like Travis Stevenson, or I could say Weltery, right? Or coffee shop or whatever. I'll say subject line. Check this out. I'll say, fuller name in. Thanks so much for registering, right? And the body's just going to say, you're awesome because I said you are. Right, and like, again, you can put whatever you want in here. If this was a coffee shop, it would say, hey, thank you so much. We'll send you an email whenever, anything else comes up, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you tell a friend. You can do whatever you want in this welcome email. And it comes from Gmail. So you don't even have to have a secondary autoresponder set up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And I'm going to go ahead and skip that test. I know that it works, and hit finish. Now that my Zap is turned on, you notice it's on now. Now we have these two steps in place. Zapier knows what information is going to come from Facebook and Chatmatic, and then this email is going to get sent out. So what I want to do is I want to go back through this bot. Now we're actually going to live demo the Zapier side, right? So this is more the step 3. Step 1 is connect it inside of Zapier, get the Zapier webhook. Step 2, make the integration, make the automation, and set it up to a campaign. And now, when I click this, if my automation works, it should be sending me an email from myself. So I just want to show you. I pull my email over, and you can see right here, you're awesome because I said you are. It's an email from me that says it's from Wealth3, so that works. There is nothing else that you really need to know how to do aside from that. Now, you can add different elements to this. I could add a 4-hour delay. And so don't send that email for 4 hours. This is where you, as an agency owner, can make a lot more revenue. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about what we can do here for about 5 or so minutes. But I wanted to make a simple explanation to show you guys exactly what we do. Again, step 1, you've got to make your webhook. You've got to grab the webhook URL. Then you go into Chatmatic. Step 2, go to Settings, Integrations, Add New. Okay? When you add that new integration, you're going to name it, you're going to hit Save, or you're going to hit Add, and you're going to hit Save. That's going to add it here. You should see a list of it here if you've done it correctly. Next step, go to Automations, add a new automation. That automation will be called on anytime there is a current engagement flow. It'll trigger the rest of it. Sue said, what if you wanted to use your business email rather than a Gmail email as a sender to a lead customer? You totally can, but you would have to set up your personal business email as a G Suite. So I can, for instance, like if I go back in here and go send email, right, I can connect a different account. So I'll do that from a different window here. I'm going to connect a separate account that's on a G Suite. And so now you can see here, I can send emails from travis@chatmatic.com if I want to. This one just happens to be already set up from stevenson.gmail, that one. But you can do it from your business account as well. Another way to do that is like just to have it all set up in an autoresponder. So for instance, I can also, when somebody signs up at my coffee shop, I can go in and let's say they're using Kartra for their email solution. I can assign a tag. I can subscribe a lead to a list, right? And in Kartra, anybody who opts into a list, you can send them into a sequence. So let me just show you a really cool example of this. Right now, one of the things that I have going on my page is this messenger field guide, which you guys are probably, a lot of you have probably already seen this. So somebody goes into my messenger, they type messenger profit, and it says, great, to get this information, just confirm your email. When they confirm their email, I have my system, as you can see over here, I have my system telling me, hey, someone just downloaded the Chatmatic Messenger field guide. Here's the information. So it actually comes through my Slack so that I can see what's going on over there. And then it also subscribes them to Kartra, which let me just show you this. So as you can see from the lists here, right here, there's 34 people who have subscribed to field guide, right? Now, if I go to sequences, everybody who subscribes to that also gets this sequence, Messenger Profit Field Guide. So now I can also send them a bunch of emails through a sequence type event. All of that happening by simply them typing their email address or clicking their email address. Do me a huge favor and just give me an OMG if you're seeing all right now, like all the potential. Right? I could email the client, hey, you just got a new lead. I can also get the client into an autoresponder so that they start receiving the first sequences of messages. I could also do any number of things. So I think exploring Zapier is a good move for you guys. We also, the same webhook can integrate with Integromat. I just don't want to do too much training on that because it might overwhelm people. Integromat is very similar to what we have going on here in Kartra, but what's great is you can all obviously, just in Kartra, you can do everything. You can cancel subscriptions, refund a transaction, you can edit somebody's lead information, subscribe a lead to a calendar, which is really cool. You can retrieve different tags. You can do a lot of really cool information. And so essentially, being able to do this obviously makes it to where you can now automate most of the difficult stuff. We can also, at the same time, we can go into Excel, right? So let's do Excel. That's a fun one. And we could literally add a row to the table. And that row could have all the lead information in it. So Sue says, there's multiple ways to get emails automatically triggered from Gmail Direct, Google Suite, Kartra, and other autoresponders Zapier hosts. Yeah, so you can trigger an email from anything that Zapier connects to. So you can actually go in here, and they have a manual step down here for email. And as you can see, send outbound email. Send an email from your own custom zapiermail.com address. Up to 10 emails sent per hour. If you want something faster, using an autoresponder is the key. You could subscribe them to MailChimp. You could add them to a webinar. You could add them to a Zoom account. So if you're trying to take on clients and you're using Zoom to do live meetings, you could actually have a bot that says, hey, why don't we do a Zoom for 2 p.m. And then you just add them to the 2 p.m. Zoom. Very, very simple stuff to do. So again, you can play around with this as much as you want. You'll have a different webhook, Zapier hook for each kind of integration, right? So each thing that you're trying to do. So for the coffee shop with the Wi-Fi scan code, I might want that, to go into this autoresponder, welcoming them to this, yada, yada, yada. Most coffee shops probably only need one integration, which is going to welcome them to their autoresponder, and it's going to send them all the relevant information right away. That's pretty much all you have to do for most of your businesses that you're going to be using. So this coffee shop Wi-Fi scan code, if anybody scanned the scan code, it'll send my lead, my client, it'll send them an email from my Gmail account that says, hey, you just got a new lead. At the same time, it'll move that lead into their autoresponder. At the same time, and you guys can see I'm getting leads up here downloading my field guide. You can see in real time, everybody who opts into my field guide, it's going to pop up on the right-hand side up here, which is pretty cool. You can do any number of things. In one zap, you can literally email. So watch, ready? So I'm going to have it email the client, right? That was the first Gmail we set up. I'm going to have it email the client, which is where it says right here, who's it going to? We pull in their email. That's going to be emailing the lead who just came in. So I'm going to go to test this step. I'm going to say skip it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a step, where I also want it to email my client, right? So it's going to send 2 emails, one from Gmail, one from here. So this one might go to my client, right? So save and continue. And I'm going to have this go to, like, in this case, my client's email might just be my email. I could CC myself. I could send it to multiple people, right? Zapier is pretty powerful. And I could just have it say, hey, we just got you a new lead, right? So the subject would be, hey, Travis, we just got you a new lead, right? That lets them know, hey, a new lead just came in. Now, this is going to have exponentially higher value depending on what companies you're working with. So if I'm working with a real estate agency and they're like busy, they're out doing things, being able to email them every single time a new lead comes in is hugely profitable, right, for them. Like, oh man, that's so cool. And you can see another person just downloaded my field guide, which is pretty cool. So I can, in one system, I can drive leads to one ad, get customers for these businesses, and then notify these businesses that it's happening, while also, helping them distribute the lead out to people, helping them, I could upload an Excel spreadsheet where they get all the information about the lead, they get the phone number and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to show you guys this sort of like quick tutorial on how to set up Zapier. My suggestion to all of you is go through and play with what you'd want to do. The 2 biggest things that you're going to be able to do for your business now that we have Zapier is, number 1, instantly get any client leads out of Chatmatic and instantly into another platform, right? So literally, as somebody signs up, like, let me just show you. You just saw, I just had a lead sign up for the field guide. So let's look at Chris here, right? Chris signed up, and then, or Catherine was the last one. So let's look at Catherine. So Catherine signed up. Because of Zapier, I can go into, look at my sequences, right? My sequences had 34 people. If I refresh, okay, now we have another one. And you can see it actually brings in their profile URL, so I can actually see who these people are. We get all of that from Facebook. So if I refresh this, it should be at 37 people in this sequence, right? So let's go ahead and refresh it. 37. So as you can see, I'm not doing anything. People are coming through to download my lead magnet, or if it's for a client, you can have, they're coming through to get information on a free week of yoga. They're coming through to get a free drink at the bar. They're coming through to get a free consultation. They're coming through to get information about the wedding venue, whatever it is. When they come through, you can automate everything after that. Does that make sense to me? If ever, just give me a wow if you guys are thinking, oh, this is crazy. And Craig, does that clear up your issue? Because Craig was mentioning earlier he was having an issue with an integration. Does that clear it up a little bit better for you? I don't want anybody leaving thinking this is complicated, because it's really not. It's worth doing a couple of times. And always make sure when you go to your engagement, always make sure that the action that collects an email has an automation set to it. Otherwise, nothing will happen. You'll collect an email, but nothing will actually take place. Just because you set it up in automation, you have to trigger that automation here, because I could trigger, any number of different automations. And I want to make sure that everybody's clear on, just do me a favor and just say yes if you guys are clear on that idea. If you want information to be sent to Zapier, you've got to have a point in Chatmatic that says, at this point, send info to Zapier. Otherwise, it wouldn't end up doing anything. So you can make automations, you can make integrations, but none of them will do anything until you set that up. So I just wanted to be clear on that you guys see all of where that's coming from. Cool. So yes, got some clarity on that. If you're running into an issue where it's not firing, the steps that I would take, the troubleshooting that I would take on this is, first, go back into the message and click the point that's supposed to send the Zapier webhook. Click on it and make sure you actually saved an automation. Make sure that you saved the automation. Second, go back into settings, and when you go to integrations, if you've triggered it and you don't see these numbers changing, then there must be some sort of an issue. Maybe their webhook URL isn't all the way set up. And then automations, they do take a little time. So you'll want to refresh the entire screen to get automation numbers up to date. But for now, you won't see numbers in there instantly, but you will see numbers in here pretty instantly. So that's where you can kind of check to make sure, okay, this is actually working. And ultimately, if you actually set up a Zapier, action step, then it should actually do those steps. Just remember, every time you edit a Zap, it's going to turn it off. So always make sure you're turning them back on. You go to your dashboard, you want to make sure that it's actually on. Because I have plenty of automations that turn themselves off. So what's cool here is you can see, like, we're going to have some really cool examples of Zaps, but you can see this one. Anytime somebody comes through an ad for one of my clients, it's going to send my client an email saying, hey, you just got a new lead. And when he provides me with his autoresponder, I'll be able to add that to this process as well, and then I can, do anything. You can send text messages to users, as you'll see here. We can actually do a bunch of different things, but you can see SMSs in here. You can add a delay. You can do a bunch of really, really cool stuff. So, I mean, what I would do is play around with it, see what you can do. Make sure your Zaps are always turned on. Again, that one, as soon as I edited it, it turned it off. Now it's back on. If there's any issues, I'll tell you about it. But aside from that, that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, Craig didn't trigger the automation to fire. So you do have to tell it, hey, at this step, please trigger that automation. We have other ones as well. So you can see here, because I run an agency, I have multiple people helping me out. One of the things that we did was we created a scan code for one of our clients. So it sends the client an email saying, hey, you just got a new lead from your scan code. And then it also updates our Slack channel saying, hey, we just got that client a new lead. Here's the information. That way we all can see, okay, these things are working. So that's my quick kind of run through on what to do with Zapier. Again, highly suggest going through Zapier and playing around with it. But just make sure you're capturing the catch hook in the first step is a webhook, and it's a catch hook. And then that's pretty much that. So from this point, guys, I hope you guys are having a great day, great start to your week. Make sure you're setting up some of these. So if you're in the real estate space, go make a demo and set up an integration for real estate. And at that point, set up some automations. Here's a really cool trick for you guys. If you're trying to work with a client that you've been talking to a little bit but haven't really been able to get to sell on the idea, set up an automation that sends them an email whenever somebody goes through this demo and be like, look, here's a great idea. If you want to get real estate clients, make an email that goes to like 5 or 10 real estate leads that you have, and have the email say, you just got a new lead, here's the information. The body of the email would say, hey, it looks like we just collected a lead. As soon as you sign on, we can be sending you emails just like this, but this is a real email. You're just getting CC'd on it because I wanted you to see how easy this is. We're also updating a spreadsheet, and we'll also send the lead to you via email when this is set up as your account. Click the link below to schedule a call with me. You can literally do that. And then, you do it, you go through and you trigger yourself as the lead, right? And now they're seeing leads come through, and they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Like, they kind of told me about it, but now I'm seeing, like, this looks like a real lead just came through. They might be interested in buying a house. I want to do this. And so you're showing them how it works in real time. And then you have your demo call with them, and you can take it from there. So hopefully this helps. For those of you guys in our coaching program, we are about to go live in our coaching group with our weekly Monday 2 p.m. call. So I'll see all of you guys there. Aside from that, hope you guys have a great week, and go set up some integrations and some automations. See all you guys soon.